Link, here come to town, come to save the Princess Zelda. Got it put away, now the children don't play, but they will when Link saves the day. Hallelujah! Now Link, fill up your hearts so you can shoot your sword with power. And when you're feeling all down, the battle will come around, so you'll be brave and not easy coward.
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Nick930, and today we're going to be doing a first impressions review for The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. I'll be basing my review off the Wii U copy today, as I don't have a Nintendo Switch, and I personally don't intend on getting one anytime soon. There's several videos available online if you're interested in seeing graphical comparisons between the two, but honestly, I'd say the differences in quality and performance are pretty negligible. This is the 19th Zelda game in the franchise, and it has taken a very different direction from a Zelda game. Breath of the Wild features a full open world with an unprecedented level of freedom. You can explore dungeons in any order you like, and the game encourages creative problem solving and experimentation. The story is typical of a Nintendo title and tries its best not to take long explaining what we already know. You wake up mysteriously in a cave and emerge from a long slumber, and you need to help a princess from an evil entity that threatens the land. Nintendo doesn't really have the best writing skills, but at least they're consistent, and fans of the series likely won't want this to change. The game controls well on the Wii U, with camera movement working smoothly and character control feeling tight. I'm not a big fan of the sprint button and the jump button being on opposite sides of the button face from each other. It makes it very difficult to get a running start before a big jump. There's also some awkward motion controls for aiming that are enabled by default that I highly advise disabling at the start. The game tries a bit too hard, like most launch titles for consoles, to remind you what you're playing this game on with the inclusion of this Sheikah Slate device. The device looks eerily similar to the Nintendo Switch and doesn't seem to fit very well with the game's theme. It's also very annoying that you are constantly placing this tablet down on a docking station and having to sit through an unskippable cutscene every 15 minutes just to progress through the story. And I'm hoping further into the game these pedestals will be spread out a bit further and not as common as the opening hour. But honestly, aside from that, there's not really much to fuss about. The game is highly addicting to play and has an endless amount of features and meticulous attention to detail that will likely make every player's experience significantly different. Combat feels very tight with easy-to-use controls and a large variety of weapons. The variety works pretty well with the game, considering your weapons will constantly be breaking on you, and you'll be forced to use anything you can get your hands on. Enemies are also very intelligent and will react in different ways based on the situation. You can knock enemy weapons out of their hands, and they will either go and pick up a different weapon or they'll run away. They can also, if you find them in the snowy area, pick up snowballs as a last-ditch effort to try to get some hits on you. The game's open world is highly interactive. Trees can be chopped down and used to cross paths, boulders can be frozen in place and thrown back, and Link can even scale massive cliff sides and then jump off the top of them with a parasail to any location the player wants. Fruit and other food items can be combined in pots to craft enhanced foods that can give the player stamina boosts and other special benefits like being able to withstand the cold. All these features really seem to go hand in hand with the whole experimentation thing I was talking about. This game really encourages experimenting and doesn't really hold your hand for any of it. The world behaves pretty realistically, with cold areas being more difficult to traverse without warm clothing, and freezing water killing the player almost instantly. I actually struggled getting through a cold area towards the beginning of the game to complete my objective, and ended up having to attack a nearby camp, light a stick on fire, and run through the cold area until I reached a safe point at the top of the mountain. The game's dungeons feature special trials that challenge the player to use unique powers like the ability to manipulate time or throw magical bombs. These challenges start off as tutorials with rather simple puzzles, but can become progressively more difficult as you progress in the world. By completing these dungeons, you can progress through the storyline and unlock the abilities to use out in the world, which can be helpful in traversing otherwise difficult paths and finding cool secrets. Graphically, the game is very, very impressive for the Wii U. The cel-shaded style works in the game's favor, but there are a few very washed out and bland textures that stand out in the environment. Thankfully, the bright, colorful environments distract from otherwise weak texture work, and the world really pops like an interactive cartoon. Grass not only sways in the wind, but reacts realistically to the player and enemies. Link can even cut the grass down or light it on fire. The game's performance is mostly dependable, though I did occasionally have some major frame rate drops. And it really stands out and can really hamper the gameplay experience. You'll notice it a lot during combat and very frequently when you're running in and out of very thick foliage. And that's all I really have to say. This is a very early first impressions video. I just wanted to get this out here so you guys get an idea of what the game is like if you pick it up this week. I do plan on updating this review, making another video, and adding more information once I complete the game, but it is a very lengthy game, approximately 45 to 50 some hours, and a lot of people are saying that's not even from exploring everything, that's just the main storyline. So, oddly enough, this game was not available for the Wii U at Target stores, and I also could not find it available directly from Amazon, but was instead redirected to a third-party retailer. I ended up getting my copy from Best Buy without any issue, but I'm curious to see if Nintendo plans on producing far less copies of the Wii U version to help promote the sale of the Switch. Either way, Breath of the Wild is an excellent game for both Switch and Wii U, and is a perfect send-off for Nintendo's previous platform, while also being a fantastic start for the new one. I hope you guys enjoyed this first look at the new Zelda game. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.